Recently, Seiko started to launch tons of watches. Maybe too many versions and mid-versions of their iconic models. And recently they launched a limited edition, the Seiko SPB199J1. So I propose you to go through the unboxing, the history and the details of this watch. But I'm not sure you'll like everything that you'll see on this 900 euros Alpinist. Let's begin. So firstly, kudos to Lepage. I had an amazing experience with them. The shipping was crazy fast, the watch came in less than a day. And the packaging was phenomenal as well. And besides that, the packaging had a wax stamp and a small one on the clasp, because the watch was verified and had the date set. So I had quite a few Seikos already, more than 10 I'd say, but none of them had such a premium packaging. The first impression is, yes, that I bought a premium watch. The line itself it's not premium, but this version comes with this beautiful packaging with an extra strap, both having butterfly clasps. Somehow Seiko placing this model towards the dressy line, which is not bad to reposition a classic watch into a fresh new niche. What I like about it is the fact that this is a classic design, but positioned by Seiko really fresh today. The color of the watch, the straps proposed, the packaging, I'd say it's daring, purpose-wise addressed to a younger market. And I do think this watch will increase in value in time, because it's a limited edition, but before that it's an extremely good looking watch. But as every ideal stories, there are flaws on the way. But we will get to that part in a few minutes. So Seiko introduced the Alpinist in 1961 as a worthy wristwatch for Japanese mountain climbers and other sports enthusiasts. It meant to be some sort of a G-Shock translated in our days. And probably, as you know, the mountains are covering a lot of the Japanese landscape. And the mountain men that worked and spent time in the mountains during their free time were supposedly the inspiration of this line of Seiko watches. So the actual Alpinist, the SBDC line as we know it today, borrows a lot of elements from its predecessors, and I consider a good opportunity to go through Seiko's history. Seiko introduced the Alpinist in 1961. The Laurel Alpinist was the first of the 7 generations of Alpinists. The brand Laurel is actually a sub-brand of Seiko, as well as the next Alpinist launched in 1963. More precise, the Champion Alpinist, the 850 model. But getting back to the Laurel version, we can spot from there the sharp minute indices that are kept even today on the 2005 onwards models. Also the 12 o'clock triangle that hosts inside a big of a mountain. So the production of the Alpinist ceased for 31 years, until 1995, where Seiko introduced the line with the Red Alpinist series that hosted a unique inner compass and a cyclops above the date window. And since 1995, the Seiko started to launch new updated versions every 3 or 4 years. In 2003, the 8F56, in 2006 the SARB series, and in 2019 the Blue Alpinist, and obviously in 2020 the SBDC's series. So I have to confess, I do like tool watches meant for specific purposes, that sacrifice the aspect for the function. And as I said, the Alpinist is a classic watch, but reiterated on a modern way, and honestly so smart that Seiko nailed it this time. Specifically, it really looks like a tool watch on a smaller scale, but still with a pedigree of a robust watch that has a mission. But why do I think it's robust? Well, the body of the watch feels compact, somehow flexed, providing a unitary volume. And for me, this is the first time when I see an Alpinist and I am impressed. It provides that cold, playful tone, no matter the lighting conditions. This version succeeding to act like a chameleon, it borrows colors and changes its appearance every time. The icy light dark blue sunburst combines very well the metal elements from the dial. They play very well together, extending that metal look towards the polished surfaces of the case. So please don't forget about our Brave Beaters Garage Challenge, where we redesign together iconic watches and then send them to me manufacturers to see how they react. So the link of the form is in the description and it's free access. And the Certina DS PH200M is awaiting you. And jumping into dimensions, the diameter of the case measures 39.5 mm, with a thickness of 13.2 mm, a lug width of 20 mm and a lug to lug of only 46.4 mm. It features a sapphire crystal with a date magnified, an anti-reflective coating on the underside, and the case back with a sapphire display with a decorated Seiko caliber 6R35, an automatic movement with manual winding and hacking, with a power reserve of 70 hours. So we are talking about a compact case with multiple facets as Seiko used us with. The curved shape of the lugs contains 6 facets of alternated finishes from the top towards the bottom. The polished ring really brings a familiar look to the table. And yes, it really looks like a Rolex Explorer. The screw-down crown complements very well the purpose of the Alpinist. Seiko proposing here a grippy crown with pronounced dents that break the rhythm of the elegant lines of the case. The top surface of the crown being polished without Seiko's signature, but bringing a depth rating of 200 meters, being qualified, let's say, as a Prospex. But this shape of the watch is so flashy and busy that, if looking from the side, it does not bother me at all seeing a plain crown instead of a signed one. I mean, looking at my Sarp 035, it is a simple watch, and honestly, having a signed crown does not add too much joy to it. I mean, it remains the same watch, simple and dull. The compass crown buried in the case enables the chapter ring to move the cardinal points. And as everyone knows, the crown is very sensitive when moving the compass. But to be honest, I do see the use of the sensitivity, thinking of the fact that I have the watch strapped on my wrist. I'm in the middle of the nature, and I do want to operate the crown without removing the watch from the wrist. And yes, this feature to have a buried crown and the right space to change the compass on the wrist, I do see the need to have it as it is. And la piece of the resistance is obviously the dial. The glacier tones proposed by Seiko, I have to admit, are impressive. This sunburst acts like a chameleon. It borrows colors and changes its tones based on associated colors. Besides that, the green-blue hue has a metallic accent as well, that communicates brilliantly with the polished elements inside of the dial. The watch has a lot of presence, the weight being on the bottom part where we find the Prospex logo and the automatic 20-bar text. Because it's painted in white, it can be spotted from every angle, where on the top the area is muted by the Seiko logo, which is faded on the most angles of the light play. And the same is for the metal indices. Being polished, they disappear on specific angles, but most of the time they are highlighted by the glacier dial. The lume is present on this practical watch obviously, and even if the surfaces are not that big, the Lumi Bright is more than visible, placed next to the minute markers and on the cathedral hands and on the second hand. Now, as you noticed, on the macro level the finish of the hands is disappointing, at least for my standards. They surely look like the Chinese chip painted hands. What is interesting, Seiko is known for failing at the quality level, where Grand Seiko exceeds on this chapter. Really, Seiko? So, the straps, yes, they offer a premium practical feel that brings value and complements the watch. As I said, I associate the butterfly clasps with elegance, positioning the watch on the dressy side rather than the toolish ones. I think the materials chosen for the straps are quite cool. The tan canvas is amazing, especially because the color is not shiny and the pattern is quite raw. The green leather strap as well feels really well made, being thick and really stiff. But let me show you an amazing strap from my friends 7 Friends and Watches. Once again, this is how my high-tech strap looks now. It really adds patina in time. And I really like that, but what is cool about it, it is flexible and comfortable. So if you want to complement your watch, you should definitely try one and see how it fits for you. As for the movement, Seiko is proposing here the new 6R movement. This one being a transitional movement from the low entry Seikos to the professional 8L series. This new movement seemed to have nearly the same level of detail as the older ones, but an increased power reserve of 70 hours and a ticking speed of 21,600 vibrations per hour. And I do like the fact that the movement is small, being a good option for smaller dressy pieces. And for how it wears, as I said, being a robust small timepiece, the Alpinist, the European edition, brings with him a refined elegant design with an utilitarian aspect that sits extremely well on the wrist. And I do recommend this platform. I think the 2020 version, more precise the white one, can be purchased for a good price, I'd say. So these are my initial thoughts on this limited edition European Alpinist. I think this is an amazing watch and a keeper in my collection. The Alpinist indeed has some minor flaws here and there, but it's still an icon of Seiko for more than 60 years, and it's qualified as the 11th brave beater on the channel, because of the history, the functionality, and especially the identity of this watch. And as usual, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future creative updates, because vacation is coming and I'm threatening you with cool episodes. And until next time, stay safe.